Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Subscribe if you'd like more videos like this because I'm doing more. But today we're going to talk about creating family harmony, which I see as the new homeschooling, which we've all had popped on us, or most of us, with the coronavirus. So the cool thing is for us to now start to see we can, whether you've come out of the school system or you've been in homeschooling type of thing, we're now leapfrogging to this create family harmony. So it's like a create your own reality, but it's the work for us mothers to start to go, wow, I'm a leader here. I have to really step up. I have to really start to hold visions for my family. What do I want this to look like now that it's all under our roof? And to really start to see the light work and the dark work for each member, including the children. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. What is going on with this and how do we move forward? So firstly, the main part is getting the calm in the house. Chuck out the curriculums, the shoulds, you need to's, everything, and start to just come back to calm. And that can mean looking at what are we doing, how are we feeling, getting out of bed in the morning and going, all right, how can we create calm and keep it that way through the whole day? And that can start to then show up. I don't feel calm. And that's the first place to start is the mum work, the inner work, the mother-child reflection, that healing that we can see when we go, wow, my kids are off the scales. But looking at ourselves to go, even though I'm trying to hold it together, how do I truly feel inside? And if you can feel some of that wired energy, I'm calling it, particularly some are feeling okay, but they're saying I'm not sleeping at night well. So that's the wired energy that's there, to start to acknowledge that, to go, okay, I'm carrying some stress. We all are at some degree because we've had a big shift and a change. Even though it might be a good shift and a change, our nervous system still has that journey to catch up. And that's our physical body, the last thing going, hang on, whoa, what's going on? My solution is always to say, well, to help the physical body out, the nervous system is to look at the emotional body, to really honor your emotions right now. And as most people would know, even if you haven't had a cry in a long time, having a big cry at the end of it, you get a sense of calm, but you also get clarity and energy. And that's exactly what you want right now, rather than trying to keep it together and your bubble is getting bigger and bigger, holding it all together. There is a lot of monkey mind, ego self saying, oh no, but it's okay. And I'm grateful for this. And I can see the higher perspective and all of that. But really, ultimately, it's our monkey mind avoiding us looking at our emotions. So we do both. We honor the spiritual body that's like, yeah, cool, I can see the good things at play, but also looking at the emotional body to go, but even so, I'm disappointed this didn't happen. I'm actually feeling a bit wobbled with this new energy. My children are at me. And that's the next thing, is to just see it. If our children are having any unsteady times, then there's always that reflection to come back to us to go, okay, what's going on for me? Also your partner, if their dad's there, just to see, okay, yeah, how are we both managing this energy, right? Now, if it's your partner that seems more stressed and your children might be reflecting them, the mother role is still to hold that space to go, okay, so what can I do to hold space best for everyone? I will hold a better space when I've let my emotions out, so I can truly just be there for just their stuff. But it is tricky to hold space for others when you're actually feeling it too. And that's what a lot of mums are juggling and getting themselves into adrenal fatigue, migraines, all sorts of stuff, because they're trying to manage everyone else's stress on top of their own. And there's such a difference when you've cleared your stuff out to be able to go, hey, I'm neutral here. I'm actually feeling really strong energetically within myself. I'm not about to lose it or crack it if one of you guys say the wrong thing or goes on and on, emotionally too much. So again, coming back to ourselves, it's really such a inner job right now. Importantly, so that then you can say, okay, now I can see clearly. Once you can see clearly, then it's saying, well, what do I want? What do I want? What do I envisage for my family? Again, throwing out all the old stuff to go, okay, so we wake up in the morning. I would like to have some family time, or I'd like us to do this, or I'd like to have some alone time on this activity, and they might do those. Whatever it is that you are dreaming of, that's the important part, is to have this vision there. So the universe is like, okay, cool, we're going to travel to this. If you're putting out fires and just struggling, looking at day-to-day stuff, they're not doing anything, they're bored, they're hitting each other, I'm stressed, we got no money, my husband's yelling at me, all you're doing is looking at your problems, and law of attraction is basically giving you more of that. So it really is important to, firstly, we can't see very clearly if we're up to here in stress and emotion. So that's why I'm always saying, go and let your stuff out first, have a good cry, what's making you feel most stressed, let it all out, and then you get to that clarity and the logic to go, oh yeah, you know what, it's actually all okay, or actually, you know what, I know I could do this. Or you'll be able to see what needs to be looked at first, so you've got an order to it rather than seeing it all at once, which brings the overwhelm. And once you've got an order, you might go, you know what, this child needs some attention right now, or actually it's me and my husband that have to get on a better page right now, and then hopefully the children will take care of themselves. So just seeing that order and seeing what is the one thing that I need to be actually looking at and doing my inner work on first. And communication, especially from your heart. So if you're carrying a lot of charge, it can be very easy to accidentally leak it, even at your partner, your children. The charge is not going to help you. So that's what I was saying. Let go of your emotions, let go of that charge. Then you come in just in a gentler, softer, more feminine version to say, you know what, this is really important to me. Or, you know what, this is getting to me. And I actually really, really want it to change because my vision that I've already had is up here. And this is not what I want. This is really not what I want. And that's a really great thing to sit in. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. To the point where your emotions come up and you go, I don't want this. I actually want this. And the universe is like, finally, she said it. She's put in an order. So that's the bit. But the emotions fuel that energy to go, I really want this. And when they're out of the way, then boom, all of a sudden you start to get much closer to what your next vision is for your family. So that's kind of working at bringing that calm. When you get yourself to a calmer place, automatically the rest of the family does calm down, and you'll notice it, because then all of a sudden, if anything stresses you, all of a sudden everything else picks up too. So really looking at yourself as the most important person to keep coming back to. If we spray our stresses at, yelling or doing anything at our kids or a partner, it only makes more problems, because then they take it on as, I'm the naughty child, or I don't like mummy, and there's that disconnect, which doesn't help in coming together. It actually repels, obviously. So really come together and really value, I remove myself to let go of my emotions rather than doing it in the family unit, which, it just gives us more problems. Okay, so the calm, that's the main bit, is just to look at, okay, if my kids are acting up, I come back to myself first. Once you've dealt with your own emotions, then you can really see it to go, oh yeah, I can see them. It takes one to know one. I can see myself, I got stressed. Then I look at them and go, oh, you're feeling worried, aren't you? Because, and they'll almost be like, how did you know that? It's like, because I've actually gone there. I felt it. I see it now. I see it very clearly in you. Emotional intuition, right? And so then you can be labeling their feelings, which helps them with that emotional intelligence to go, yeah, okay. And opening that door of talking about it. So going there yourself first just really gives yourself a 101, and that open door to go, yeah, okay, this is important to me now. It's really helped me. I need to go and talk to you about it, or your partner as well. So getting the calm is really important. Getting the flow in the day, the main part is to chuck out structure and rigidity. That is the old way. Do not bring school bells, or timings into it. My first thought is always like, okay, how about every day at 4 o'clock we'll exercise? But again, it's still holding on to that rigidity, and the universe will always find some way to knock that down. Someone won't be feeling like it. Then you start getting pushy, but come on, we've got to, when you realize, oh yeah, we've just put this on ourselves. So the main part is waking up in the day and having a sense of what you'd like it to be like. I'd like some indoor time, some outdoor time, some alone time, some together time, some learning time, life skills time, that kind of thing. And then you get up and you go with it to go, all right, today we're all really high vibe, so that would make sense. So we do X. Now we've all had some time together, it would make sense that we go apart. And you just keep flowing that way. So that's the best way to kind of leapfrog all the schooling and the homeschooling stuff, any shoulds and you need tos, and you need to do this before this, and coming to here. And the biggest thing I say is educating your children and holding that vision that they are wise enough to make these decisions themselves. So they've had some screen time and they might come off ready, pinging on the walls, and you go, you know what? I think we're going to go outside. You may have to guide them the first time, but after that, you say, don't you feel better having been outside and grounding yourself with that earth energy after being on the computer screen, oh yeah, they say, right. So that's the balance that we're going to keep. It's sensible and smart for us to keep balance in our day. And so the next time it happens again, you say after screen time, okay, so, naturally it would make sense to go outside. And then they're more willing to say yes rather than you have to. I'm telling you, you're actually explaining it and showing them why they would want to choose it themselves. So that's getting the flow. If they say no or there's any resistance, back to yourself. It might be like, oh, but I need you to get outside because, oh yeah, I really need some space myself. I'm about to crack it. I've obviously got something coming up. Yeah, this has been worrying me. That's actually, I didn't like when I heard this, whatever. Okay, I need you to go outside, or I'm going to go and do this. When you hear yourself begging your children, it's definitely a sign that there's some stuff in there that, please be quiet. Please don't move because I might lose my shit. And really, you need to lose your shit in the most responsible way you can. Yelling it to the roof, going take out your room, but honoring that you can't be begging your child to do something for you, bribing them, shaming them, all that stuff. They are energetic puppets to our stress. So no matter if the higher the stress, the more they're just going to keep on going until you crack. Or else they will cop it, all the spraying that you're doing on them, and then they go like this because they're like, oh wow, I'm taking this all on. So that's the main part in flow. If I'm just doing a brief summary of the day, there's heaps more to it, obviously, depending on family dynamics and all sorts of things. But then really getting towards the children's highest path and your own. But, right now we're looking at, okay, so what can we do with the children? How can I move my child to their highest path? And the biggest thing is to let go of all the schooling stuff, even homeschooling stuff, to just see them and see what really lights their heart up, talking to them about that, and to really find their little niche. And then you basically give them lots of, different things that they could do with that. So I'm using creativity as an example. If they're quite creative, they might, like to do painting, but you might go, hey, look, we've got boxes and some tape. They give that a go. They might go outside and you're like, hey, we could do, sticks and get some hot glue and just see what we can do with nature's materials, or, rope, whatever. And then you start to say, which one lit your heart up the most? Which one made you feel so good? What do you really want to go back and do again? And then you find really something that really gets them going. And that's the main part in seeing. And some of the gifts are very subtle, like they're very good connecting with people. It might be they've got a really great memory, really tuning into what is really comes easily for them and really lights them up and gives them the longest attention span, which is what we want right now, is kids sinking into activities. In saying that, because we're all carrying a certain wiredness as well, the attention spans will probably be a little bit reduced. So just keeping that in mind when you're like, oh, they didn't spend that long, but actually on a better day, would they have spent longer? And seeing this as the trial phase, this first few weeks at least is basically like a bumpy phase where they might push us, but the more you let that stuff out, like, oh, I didn't really like today, it was just crazy, they were all over me. Oh yeah, they were all over me because they were trying to push my buttons. So I'm going to let all that stuff out tonight. Next day, oh yeah, that's better. Okay, now we can actually work with what do you want to do and getting some flow. But then you realize, oh my gosh, we got so excited, we put in too many activities, I didn't get any time for myself. Okay, back to the drawing board. So it's really flowing that through for the first few weeks, maybe month or so. I always say, with changes, even like changing to gluten-free, you give yourself about 3 months, and then in 3 months you look back and go, I can't even remember back then because we've changed so much. So who knows where we'll be in 3 months, but the main part is to see the vision and to know that it's coming. But this phase here doesn't mean you're failing if you've got a vision and you're working towards that. It just means you're doing the inner work to figuring out what works and what doesn't, especially for you as the mum and the leader in this family unit. So I hope that that's given a good rundown. Please do ask any questions in the comments. I'd love to know, or any other topics even within this whole field, because there's so much in there. I'm literally just talking on the tops of everything. But do know I have heaps of services. I have a free New Children Healing Sanctuary group, including my free Sanctuary library that you can come in and find it in there with all my recent courses, resources, meditations. For now it's free. Please do come in and use them. There's all sorts of things: Empowered Mother, Empowered Child course, there's the Harmonious Partners course, the Monkey Mind course, which is my new age parenting course, which goes into a whole lot of, behaviors you don't want and what that actually means, what's going under, what's going on underneath that for the child. So yeah, please do come and use that as well. So otherwise, I'll see you all again soon. Good luck and so much love in all this crazy energy. Bye.